Beyonce gave a big speech at the Bilderberg conference this weekend, asking that we repeal the First Amendment for the New World Order. Do you think that's a good idea? Should we get on board with her decision?
Yeah, that's cool.
It's okay?
Yeah, that's good.
She probably knows what's best.
Yeah, she knows what she's doing, I guess.
Okay, all right, thank you. At the Bilderberg group this weekend, Beyonce suggested implementing Sharia law in the urban communities just to help keep everybody in line and keep everybody safe. You think it's time to support Beyonce's Sharia law plan?
Yeah, I think it's time to support that. Definitely.
Just to help out, especially in the minority communities, some Sharia law would really help keep everybody safe.
Yes.
Support Beyonce's Sharia law plan. All right, well, thank you very much. We'll just check in and getting people's opinions on Beyonce's Sharia law plan.
All right, thank you.
All right, thank you.
So let me start with where I'm coming from, and let me be as blunt and as direct as I can be. Western civilization is in a war. We should, frankly, test every person from here who is of a Muslim background, and if they believe in Sharia, they should be deported.
Jay-Z took some time out from cheating on his wife to take a not-so-sly dig at Kanye West. Performing on the track What's Free off Meek Mill's new album Championships, Jay-Z called out Kanye for his support of Donald Trump. He later denied that's what the lyric was about, but his backpedaling looked more like damage control. No red hat, don't Michael and Prince me and yay, they separate you when you got Michael and Prince's DNA. I ain't one of those house nibbers you bought. My house like a resort, my house bigger than yours. Because Jay-Z isn't one of those house nibbers. He doesn't prostrate himself for the white establishment in return for money and acclaim, does he? I mean, it's not like he literally gave a concert for Hillary Clinton on the eve of the presidential election, is it?
I would like to introduce to you the next president of the United States, Miss Hillary Clinton.
Oh, but that was just an intro. It's not like he literally reeled off Hillary campaign slogans, is it?
Once you divide us, you weaken us. We are stronger together.
Oh, listen, Jay-Z, if you want to claim that Kanye's being used as a political stooge, then that's fine. But you did exactly the same thing, you fucking hypocrite. You're on the same team as the woman who called black people super predators.
Super predators, we have to bring them to heel.
You're on the same team as the woman who just a few weeks ago joked that all black people look the same.
What do you think about him saying kick them in the shins, essentially? Start to get to that kind of political...
Well, that was Eric Holder.
Yeah, Eric Holder,
yeah.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, I know they all look alike.
No, they don't.
You're on the same team as a woman who, according to her former chef, called a black member of staff the N-word.
A gentleman of color came in with something, and it did not please her the way it was. When he walked out, she says that, and then she used the N-word.
You're on the same team as a woman who pathetically panders to African Americans by putting on a fake black accent.
I don't feel no ways tired.
You lose. And absurdly claiming to carry around hot sauce in her handbag.
That's us.
Really?
Yes.
Now listen, I don't want you...
You're literally on team. Let's insult black people's intelligence because we know they're going to vote for us anyway. But Kanye's the one selling out black people. Yeah, give me a break. What makes this more stupidly ironic is that the chorus to the What's Free song states, free is when nobody else could tell us what to be. Free is when the TV ain't controlling what we see. Media TV coverage of Trump is 93% negative. So the TV is controlling what we see. And in the entertainment world, Jay-Z is an integral part of that control. In the same song, Jay-Z brags, sold drugs, got away scot-free. Because in case you didn't know, he used to sell crack cocaine to poor black kids. And even later bragged about it, saying it gave him business skills. So wait, Kanye's bad for leading black people astray, for telling them to have original thinking. But you're some kind of modern MLK when you literally sold crack to poverty-stricken African Americans in the ghetto. Okay. Oh, and who was it that met with Trump to discuss prison reform? Who was it that helped secure the release of black people unfairly incarcerated on bogus charges? Was that your wife? Was that Beyonce? Oh no, that's right, it was Kanye's wife, wasn't it? It was Kim Kardashian. In fact, you directly told Meek Mill not to meet with Trump on prison reform because it could hurt his image. So image is more important to you than helping free wrongly imprisoned black people. Oh, but Kanye's the house nibber and you're the reincarnation of Rosa Parks. You know, it's strange how Jay-Z suddenly turned against Trump, given that he literally once compared himself to Trump in his own lyrics. And isn't it odd how Trump, having been praised in dozens of rap songs stretching back decades, only became a racist when he ran as a Republican? Really makes you think. And after Trump brought black unemployment down to its lowest ever, Jay-Z responded with this pearl of wisdom.
It's not about money at the end of the day.
What? In virtually every song you make, you brag about how much money you make. In this very song I'm talking about, you waffle on about your massive house and your $1 billion. Listen, Kanye isn't telling black people they have to think and vote a certain way, otherwise they're race traitors. He's telling them the opposite. You're the one telling slaves to carry on picking the cotton. You're the plantation manager. Jay-Z, it's quite clear who the house nibber is. It isn't Kanye, it's you.
For the most part, the 85% don't really know what it is, and the 5%ers that know what it is can't get it past the 10%ers. So this alone would be a break. This is a jump past. This is gonna get taken off the internet, quick. Shoot. Send a paparazzi at him.
I don't know if you saw, but Beyonce had a big concert at the Bohemian Grove.
I didn't see it.
Where she has called to repeal the First Amendment to help stop racism. We're just getting people's opinions. You think that's a good idea? Should we support Beyonce's plan to repeal the First Amendment?
Absolutely. I mean, people listen to her. She definitely has a voice around everybody.
So that's the right idea, you think, what she did at the Bohemian Grove to repeal the First Amendment?
Yeah, gets people thinking.
Gets people thinking.
I like it.
All right, thank you. You think it's time we get on board with Beyonce's Repeal the First Amendment program?
Let's go with it.
Let's go with it?
Let's go with it. Yeah,
she probably knows what's best.
Yeah, she knows what's good.
She says it's time to repeal the First Amendment. It's something us little people should probably get on board with.
Yep, no doubt.
You think it's time we get on board with her repeal the First Amendment program?
Yeah, I think so, because I mean, without that, there's a lot of violence out here, and if we do, people will understand the right from wrong. Maybe. I believe so. That it's time.
So Beyonce knows it's best to repeal the First Amendment?
She doesn't know what's best, but she thinks alike like most other people, so yeah, I think so, pretty much.
So you would agree with repealing the First Amendment?
Yeah, I would. Would you?
No, I wouldn't agree.
Okay.
I think we should keep the Bill of Rights, actually.
Okay.
It's the foundation of our freedoms in America.
Okay. Yeah, well, I think she should, because other than that, it's people think alike, so yeah, maybe so, probably.
So you disagree with me? And agree with Beyonce?
Yeah, pretty much.
Okay. All right, man.
Cool.
With you.
Cool,
Thanks,
cool.
man.
Act for America founder Brigitte Gabriel and Center for Security Policy President Frank Gaffney join me now. All right, good evening to the both of you. Brigitte, I'll start with you. You say that large numbers of American Muslims support Sharia blasphemy laws. How does one determine that this is actually true?
Wenzel Strategies did polling data and asked highly educated American Muslims. We're talking Harvard graduates, Columbia, very well accomplished, financially successful. We're not talking about Somali taxi drivers who can barely speak English driving taxis in New York City. And these highly intellectual and educated Americans said that 58% of them do not believe that criticizing Islam or the Prophet should be protected under the First Amendment. About 45% of them said it should be criminalized, and 12% of them believed that actually people should be killed for if they would say anything bad about the Prophet. And these are highly educated Americans here on American streets. This is not some radicals in Pakistan.
Frank, what's your take on that?
Well, Brigitte is, of course, absolutely right, and it's all the more stunning that our own president is engaged in basically trying to enforce Sharia blasphemy laws himself. You may remember, Judge, that back in September of 2012, shortly after the attacks in Benghazi, he went to the United Nations General Assembly and said, quote, "The future must not belong to those who slander the Prophet of Islam," unquote. That is basically the meme of these various jihadists and those who adhere to Sharia. And I just wanted to make this one point. Several of your guests have spoken about President al-Sisi of Egypt's very impressive appearance at Al-Azhar University on the 1st of January. And the thing that is so striking to me about that is he went right to what some call the Vatican of Islam to make that statement, which means that it's not just radicals or extremists, certainly not all Muslims, but the authorities of Islam embrace not only the Sharia blasphemy, the capital offense, as Brigitte says, but the whole program, and seek to impose it on the rest of us. And our president seems to be aligned with them, not with President el-Sisi, or for that matter, those of us who are standing up against it.
And the Obamas think it's you know, it's the bee's knees, right? Give me a break, man. Where are we? I don't even want to do this report. Jay-Z and Beyonce visited the White House many times. Michelle Obama, they write, has a strange obsession with Beyonce, even dressed up as Beyonce to celebrate her birthday last year. CNN contributor April Ryan was excited about this news. Okay, April Ryan, that doesn't surprise me. Yeah. Well, the D.C. On the Run concert with Jay-Z and Beyonce is very presidential. Former President Obama and former First Lady are there for this amazing show. Miss Obama was just in Paris for the show. Amazing show. Oh.
On the same day that a Black Lives Matter inspired terrorist gunned down 5 cops in Dallas, Beyonce paid tribute to Alton Sterling, the career criminal wannabe gang member sex offender who was shot dead after resisting arrest, trying to grab a cop's taser and trying to grab his own illegal firearm. Beyonce has become the celebrity face of Black Lives Matter ever since she decried the killing of Michael Brown, another career criminal wannabe gang member who was shot after he tried to grab a cop's gun. Oh yeah, and he didn't have his hands up. During her Super Bowl performance earlier this year, Queen Bee led out a troupe of all-black dancers wearing Black Panther-type uniforms. Sheriff David Clark compared the performance to a KKK rally. Police organisations across the country called for boycotts, and some refused to work security at her concerts. Because while hating on police, Beyonce relies on police to clear the highway for her. That's because Beyonce is a complete hypocrite who hijacks AstroTurf political movements to inflate her already mammoth-sized ego. Do you really think Beyonce cares about police brutality? Is that why she based an entire performance around fetishizing riot police during the 2010 Grammys? She literally pranced around on stage with dancing riot police, and everyone loved her for it, because 6 years ago, riot police were trendy. But in 2016, hating on police is cool. That's what sells records. That's why Beyonce has riot cops surrendering in her video for Formation. That's why she promotes urban terrorism in her video for Hold Up. Because black people smashing up their own communities is such a positive message. Remember, this is the woman who Obama called a role model for his daughters. Could it possibly be that Beyonce doesn't really care about police brutality and is merely jumping on whatever transient bandwagon brings her the most attention and money? Surely not. In the lyrics for Formation, Beyonce brags about how proud she is of her Jackson 5 Negro nostrils. In fact, Beyonce is so proud of being black that she bleaches her skin to make herself look as white as possible. Same with Nicki Minaj, Rihanna and Azalea Banks. Because when white performers attempt to mimic black fashion, it's cultural appropriation. But when black performers attempt to look white, it's just a choice. As Mika Paris points out, with her tumbling blonde hair and increasingly pale skin, Beyonce is trying to look as Caucasian as possible. Queen Bee is so into her blackness that she's physically trying to get rid of it so she can appeal to a white audience to sell more records. But maybe we can forgive Beyonce for her Black Lives Matter hypocrisy, given that she's such a proud feminist. Beyonce's such a huge feminist icon for young women. She refuses to leave the alleged serial cheater Jay-Z, the guy who calls women bitches and hoes in his own lyrics. That couldn't be anything to do with the fact that he's worth over $600 million, right? The pair of them are so obsessed with greed that they're now monetizing their marital breakdown. But Beyonce really cares about the poor and oppressed, right? That's why sweatshop slaves in Sri Lanka are paid a pittance to make her clothing line for Topshop. Why am I talking about Beyonce? Because politics is downstream from culture. Millions of young people absorb their outlook on the world by listening to the political opinions of moronic marionette celebrities. And if you think Beyonce just authentically says anything political without first considering how it's going to impact her bottom line, then you're incredibly naive. You really think Beyonce, net worth $450 million, is really going to help tear down a status quo that is supposedly oppressing black people? The same status quo that has made her incredibly rich and famous. All this Black Lives Matter virtue signaling. It isn't about empowering black people, it's about keeping them in the ghetto, keeping them embroiled in this thug life gangster culture, this grievance-fueled trap of blaming society for all their problems, this nihilistic Marxist dead-end lifestyle that lectures black people from day one that they can never amount to anything because the system won't allow it, based on this completely fake narrative that black people are being deliberately targeted for murder by racist white cops. A claim completely disproven by the facts. Black people, don't get dragged down by this artificial Black Lives Matter victimhood mindset. Don't wallow in the swamp created by the left. This welfare waste heap designed to keep you dependent, weak, and at the whim of political operatives. At the whim of phony manufactured pop culture icons like Beyonce, who in reality has so little in common with ordinary black folk that she's literally trying to become white. Fuck this ghetto chic culture that keeps black people down. Fuck Jay-Z. And fuck Beyonce.
Probably saw it's the hottest year on record. Global warming is affecting everything from the seasonal temperatures to Beyonce's album sales. Do you think it's time that President Obama does some executive order action to help stop the global warming since it's affected Beyonce's sales and the seasonal temperatures?
Man, you know what? You asked me a question that I sure can't answer, man. I have no idea. I don't know.
You can feel how hot it is out here right now. The unseasonable temperatures have been harming Beyonce's album sales and affecting seasonal temperatures around the world. Do you think maybe now it's time to do something to fight global warming?
You know what? I think Obama, what he need to do, he got to get that Kendrick Lamar. That go, man.
Okay.